There we are. Hey, what up? TK here with an impromptu Beyond Clarity. I'm actually going to send the invite link. Stay tuned. Okay, now we're back. You guys want to see something cool? Check this out. I am walking on water. Yes, do not adjust your TV screen. I am walking on water. What up, Ryan Giga Primal Sutra?
What's good,
I'm
my
glad I was able
man?
to catch you
Love with
in
you.
Dr. Script's lecture. I was actually, the reason why I was on YouTube is because I was aimlessly scrolling while I was working out. And then what do you know?
Of
I
course.
see IMC TV live. So you guys must have changed your time or went a little
Yeah.
earlier on my end, anyways. And I'm just,
Yeah, Scripps
I
got
missed
exams
this
coming
last
up, so
Sunday
we had to
and
make
I was
a,
going to wait
quick
until this
choice.
coming Sunday. And I was just
Hmm.
thinking, like, you know what? I could go live right now. Well, why not? Why make you
Do it.
guys wait? Why make myself wait an entire week? Just do it now. And I'm sharing this beautiful view right now, this beautiful sunset. I'm actually a town over from where I live. And I used to go on this walk. Um, Shoot, this was like 11, 12 years ago when I found out I was getting deployed to Afghanistan. And I knew I wasn't going to be seeing much
Mm,
color. So this is taking me back down memory lane. And I actually just got done with a job interview at a place
good.
that I knew about ever since my childhood growing up here.
Hmm.
And just how clean the place is. And I don't know if you, I don't know about you, but I never liked applying for jobs. I never liked sitting in interviews. And I'm going to share this view one last time because, man, something about a sunset on the ice is just, yeah. So there you have it. That was me walking on water. How's the audio, Ryan G? Just give me a thumbs up if it's good.
It's clear.
All right. Thank you, brother. So, welcome to Beyond Clarity, impromptu. Normally, I go live Sunday evenings. I end up switching from Friday nights to Sunday nights just because it worked well. And one of my fellow IMC Nation brothers was going live Friday night. And it was actually so good that I decided to switch my day and time because I'm not sure if he goes live anymore, but just watching him a couple times gave me confidence to go out for the hunt. And in a perfect world, I'd I'd go live anytime I could, And right now, not really having much on my mind, just sharing this walk with you. I'm gonna go down memory lane. This is more of like considered the rich neighborhood. Um, I mentioned this before. Mark Cuban, before he became the Dallas Mavericks owner, one of the judges on Shark Tank, multi-billionaire, and a pretty young dude, pretty fun guy too, I'm sure. Before he got rich, he would go driving down, I believe it was Dallas, Texas, where he lived. And he would just drive around the rich neighborhoods and he would pretty much just be like visualizing picturing himself living there, owning one of the properties. And it's crazy. I'd walk down here and I pretty much like enjoy the view, but I never really pictured myself living here. You know why? Because I picture myself living at one of the bases, preferably in a warmer climate, and then buying a house here and moving my mom in, giving my mom a house. Hey, mom, I'd like to have a house on the lake. And you and your partner can move all your stuff. And not only that, get even more stuff to cram into your house on the lake. How about that? So that's what motivates me. And here I am applying for a job as like an assembly worker, thinking like, oh my God, like here we go again, And there's something different about this facility, because I worked many odd jobs. When I was working case lot at the Walmart distribution center, putting thousands of labels on boxes. And that was where I decided, once I reached a mental and physical breakdown, that I was going to quit and do my first Beast Camp online. Shout out to Yoga Bliss Chris, now Captain Chris, Yogi Chris, Jay Gurudev. Man, so humbling. A few years ago, I'm actually approaching my 4th year in IMC Nation now. And just to think like how long I've been in, and seeing guys that have been long just as me and how much they're progressing. Why? Because they're showing up. They live at a base. They're with at least 4 other IMC Nation members, beaded warrior fighting monks, and location, location, location. That's all I can say. Hello. And that saying that you are the average of the top 5 people you're with the most is so true, because seeing my IMC Nation brothers, especially the ones that joined before me, and how much they progressed and advanced, the ones that live at base, oh man. I think it was base 2. I say that the leader there is Will Rios. The last Beast Camp I went to, which was quite a while now, I stayed there at the house. And it may be a little more than paying for an Airbnb or hotel, but you're with your IMC Nation brothers. Like, there's a lockdown, there's a wake-up call. I mean, you have accountability. Oh my God, Demigod 2C. Walking down memory lane here. Welcome to an impromptu Beyond Clarity. I missed this last Sunday, had to reschedule, and here I am. And I was going to wait an entire week to go live Sunday night, but it's like, no, I got to share this beautiful story. And for the longest time, I'd go on these walks, and that Demigod is, oh, he's joining. Okay. No Zoom updated or what here, but there we go. Where was I? The sun is setting. Shout out to my friend who's one of the co-founders of RBMC, who shared a meditation with me that you can do while grounding, and the sun is setting. What was I saying before? Man, it's just crazy. That's why you keep showing up, because if you haven't gone live in a while and you're not used to talking in front of a camera, I mean, this is over 10 years in the making. And there's Ryan G. Pin. Okay, Demigod left. Haven't heard much from him. I remember meeting him at first Beast Camp. And Navy veteran, Navy service member, still in. I'm going to check. Okay, just make sure I'm still live on YouTube here. Okay. So I'm going to pin myself, because for some reason it keeps looking at you, Ryan G. Maybe wants you to say something, but I know if you start talking, I'm not going to want to stop listening. So let's see if I can pin myself here. That's the way you always set yourself up for success, I say. Okay, Demigod's still here. All right, let's just do that. So, walking down memory lane here, for the longest time, I was not happy where I was living. I was not happy with my job. I was not happy who I was dating. I rarely dated anyone here. I pretty much like would go in relationships where I wasn't that much into them. Like, my foot was out the door. And I felt stuck. Yes, I ever feel like you were somewhere where you were stuck and there's nothing you could do to get out, or you get out a little bit, you get a little better, and then all of a sudden, whoops, and then you go back to where you were. Well, lo and behold, after living it up in Florida for a few years, I make a humbling move back up here, fall 2018, and I'm just like, right before winter starts, and I'm just thinking like, what happened? It's like, this is why I moved. Here I am. And then I graduate school, entertainment business, Full Sail University, something I'm actually interested in. And I come to find out I never had to get a degree. All I had to do was join IMC Nation and everything would have been there for me, because I was not on a process. I'd try things and I would just quit. I'd give up. I'd blow my money on different programs. And I had shiny object syndrome. I'd get really excited about something. I'd do it for a little while and then quit. Or I wouldn't be good at it and then quit right away, or going to self-sabotage. And here I am working some odd job and just thinking like, is this my life? Like one of the trainers, I don't know, maybe like 10, 15, who knows, 20, maybe even years older than me, like really intense look in his eyes, would kind of talk down to the workers. And it just he just made things more difficult, it seemed. And I felt like I was looking at a future version of myself. Like, this is what's going to happen if you don't live your life and achieve your goals. You're going to have this look on your face of pain, sorrow, hopelessness, regret, uncomfortableness. Like, there's so many people around here. I don't know if it's by you, but I look in their eyes. I never really noticed it until AZD pointed it out. And I realized it was me when I went out to San Jose, because I was going through so much stress. And as an empath, you take on other people's energy. And I've noticed, nothing against my dad, but cancer is no joke. When you get sick, when you're in a situation where you can't even walk and everything, all your karma catches up on you because you burned so many bridges that hardly anyone wants to help you or take care of you. And seeing him, the hopeless look in his eyes when he couldn't even get up, and then me having to take him to the emergency room. Oh, okay. Now I see why I moved back up here. I needed a wake-up call, because that was going to happen to me if I stopped taking care of myself and I didn't belong to a tribe. Because how many people can you count on when things hit the fan? Like, you have unexpected debt that you need to pay and need to borrow money from someone. You need a ride. You just need someone to talk to. How many people can you depend on? How many people can depend on you? And back to that stressful older guy that was training me at the Walmart distribution center, I saw my life flash before my eyes. I saw, like, this is what's going to happen if you don't live your dreams and you do something that makes you stuck. So many people, they'll have, around here, I've noticed, they'll have kids at a young age. Whoops. That's actually how I happened. And by the way, my dad wanted to abort me. So I thank my mom and my dad for giving me a life. And this is kind of like a F you, dad, I'm the greatest mistake you've ever made. And that's good karma. And as much as I want to move out to San Jose a couple of years now, I know I've been saying this for a couple of years, or another base like LA, Las Vegas, Phoenix, somewhere warm, and then perhaps starting my own base in Florida, who knows? I'm here right now. And although I'm living another winter in Wisconsin, this has given me an opportunity to get on good terms with my dad. I rarely talk to him now. I live with him. I do things with him. I actually gave him a ride to the doctor last week because he needed a stent in his heart for not being that active. And that was kind of like, okay, this is the sign. How can I provide a space for him to feel peace? Because imagine going to a doctor's appointment and they're going to do something with your heart so you can live, so you can continue breathing. So imagine what that will do for someone. My previous job, I was providing rides for disabled people. It was pretty much like Uber for disabled people. And some of them were, I'll never forget this older couple that was preaching Jesus to me, which is great. I know more people now are into spirituality, and as much as I believe in God, I don't want to push down people's throat. I was open to it and I was listening, but there's something off about them. I just felt this negative vibe, this negative energy, almost like there was something running them. Well, here's the thing about sharing Jesus and God's word, but do you practice it? So, do you think and visualize what you want to happen? Do you thank God every day? Do you go over gratitude? Do you pray properly? And just this old couple, like going in, and I knew it was they were they were hoping for not having bad news. Check out these ducks here. A tuning in nature. See, this is one thing I love about out here is that there's a couple places, nice places to walk. I was actually walking down by the marsh earlier today, and something about just going for a walk and clearing my mind, and then like looking at sunset, water, looking at nature. And I never really knew what I was doing until I joined IMC Nation and learned how to attune in nature. So there's that. So where am I going with this? So if you have animosity, anger, resentment towards your parents or a sibling, forgive them. Say you're sorry, apologize, forgive them and release them. I went to a retreat before I joined IMC Nation, and one of the shamans, realized that I had so much anger towards my dad, and they said that I need to forgive him and release him. So I did this meditation where I was forgiving and releasing, and perhaps that's an exercise that Dr. Scripps and Ryan G are going to have at their retreat that I hope to attend sometime in the future. I did another class where I actually wrote down and forgave someone for something. If you want to learn more, be my guest this Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time for AZD's open class. He just recently changed it. I can't think of the name right now, but Fridays is open. And if you're not willing to invest $97 a month in yourself, then God love you, But back to what I was saying, which I totally forgot. Oh yeah, the exercise was apologizing. I apologized. No, I forgave this person for what they did, and told them that I understand. Perhaps the same thing happened to them. And when you forgive someone, it's like you release that because you're holding on to the pain and wishing something bad about them. It's like drinking poison and hoping that your enemy dies. You're holding on to that negative energy and that pain. And oh man. And another thing too, another good thing about living here, the cold showers. It gets damn cold. I mean, picture the temperature below freezing where you live and then taking a cold shower. There you go. So I'm looking at this extra winter that I'm living here as an opportunity to get on good terms with my dad, because this might be the last year, and I want to make it his best year. He recently got a dog. Dogs are people too, Animals make such a good companion, and they're so good for people who cannot get around that well, but you just want to make sure you get the right dog, because this dog was not well trained. There's a couple times he'd pull at him, and that's what I have right now. Does anything resonate with you guys, or anything you'd like to share? Any questions? If not, I'm going to continue. Thank you for the pleasant surprise, demigod. All right. And what do neighbors think? Just vibes. Vibing. Check out Ryan G, Primal Sutra. You guys still go live Mondays and Wednesdays? No, advanced class.
Oh, for sure.
What's that? Both days?
Yes.
Okay,
So
good.
every Monday, we have the free challenge sessions, and every Wednesday we do the podcasts.
Got it. I'll try to attend when I can with my new job here, but I can always catch the recorded. So this street that I'm walking up is actually a block away from where my grandma lived. So when I was staying with her, I was bouncing back and forth for like the last 20 years in my hometown. Once my mom went through her third divorce. Now, could you imagine growing up as a child? One divorce can affect a child, but imagine three. And then people look at me like I'm crazy for not getting married. I'm like, oh yeah, it was a crazy one. Uh, I'd stay at my grandma's because I'd help her out. It was nice to have my own room. Yes, I'd get too comfortable sometimes. I'd be lazy. I would go drinking like an idiot downtown and then walk back here. Thank God I didn't drive. And then when I was watching her house, my dad gives me a call and said he's been crawling around the dirty floor for the last 3 days. He's in so much pain. Something doesn't feel right. Will you please come get me and take me to the emergency room? So I go there. Oh my God. Like I said before, the look in his eyes, it was like, imagine laying on the ground and you want to get up, but you can't. Imagine the look on someone's face doing that. Well, that's the face I saw on my dad. And I'm like, okay, we got to do something. He was in so much pain. He couldn't even light his own smoke to help relieve the pain. And the longest time he tried hiding it from me, even as a little boy, a couple times I'd see him and I'm just thinking like, I don't think I should be seeing this right now. So I'm going to go over here. I helped him light up a smoke to help ease the pain. And even though it was in his body, it was in his mind. I'm like, okay, this stuff is good, Dad. It's better than you. It's better for you than alcohol. So here you go. And I take him there, and they take like 18 vials of blood from him and test it. And sure enough, cancer in the blood. Why? What happened there? Well, he hurt himself working. He's a drywaller. He was a drywaller for like 40 years. Took over the dad's business, even though his dad, my grandpa, told him not to. And sometimes I wonder if he took over the locksmith business that my uncle took over, what my life would be like. Well, my uncle suffered from a stroke, I think in his 50s. Half his body didn't work. Why? Because he was so stressed out. And there was one story my uncle shared, quick side story here, how one thing burglars would do is that they would act like they're locked out of their house and call a locksmith. So my uncle went to some big house that a burglar was trying to break into, posing as a homeowner. And my uncle said all he remembered was his gun going off. So imagine that. So maybe in hindsight's, my dad went the smart route. Well, he was climbing up and down scaffolding, this thin metal bar with these low grade tennis shoes. So instead of having the support like a ladder, he was just climbing on this metal rung over and over again. Excuse me. So much to the point where his feet cramped up and he could barely walk. I believe they call it gout. This is actually the street my grandma lived down. Rest in peace, Grandma. A lot of memories down there. I'm making a good memory tonight. It's actually 4:22 right now here in Wisconsin. So, and the sun's going to be down, like it's almost down. So my dad got hurt at work. And instead of listening to the doctor, by taking a couple months off, exactly, in moderation, brother, in moderation. So instead of doing what the doctor told him to, by taking a couple of months off, getting therapy, real therapy, like a professional, he did the exact opposite. He kept working. I was here, so he wanted me to help him finish the job. So I'm like, okay, I'll help you finish one job. That was it. Remind myself why I stopped working for you. And then once that job was complete, guess what? He took on another job and another job. And it got to the point where I just had to stop helping him because he ended up hurting himself even more. Hello. And then one of his friends, that was funny. because he's a couple years younger than me. Looks like he's older than me, and it's just one of those like picture like growing up or when you're in a drinking or partying phase, like a drinking buddy helping you. Well, he was actually a good friend because my dad was so bad that he's like, as a friend, I really suggest that you stop. And he made it worse. He would sit on his chair and ice his feet. But how do when you're in a swamp and you're stagnant and there's really not much movement or good things happening, that's when the bad things happen. That's when the bad things come out and the diseases. And sure enough, I can't remember the name of it, but it's cancer in the plasma. It got into his bone marrow, like his spine, where it was Swiss cheese, so brittle, so frail. And I remember looking in his eyes during that time, and then just it was like I was looking at cancer. Like his face was like polka dot, and his eyes are just looking in death, and it was so sad. And that's why I say, well, Jake Rudev, Captain Chris, AZD, IMC Nation, AZD Process, beasting. Oh my god, some of my most depressed times in my life, where I wasn't working out, I wasn't doing much. I started beasting, and I thought that I had to have a gym membership and lift weights. I hated running. And then I go on appointment, my last appointment, and it wasn't, let's just say like the weight rooms were pretty full because, big base, very limited workout areas. So I invested in an online beast camp that came along with a beasting routine that AZD got from one of his brothers that was like a lifer in prison that created his own workout regimen that was like 90% body weight. And you think you're in shape? Try doing some body weight jump squats and just try doing that. Let me know how many you can do. And if you're interested, this stuff is priceless. Like I think of all the times I went on a trip or I just threw my money on stupid stuff and I'd be like temporarily happy, but then miserable afterwards. Then I'll never forget, like I went to a trip to Hawaii after my Afghanistan deployment back in 2012, 2013. I remember this sitting there on the beach, just kind of looking like, just thinking like, like I thought I'd be really happy, like I pretty much feel the same. And like, yeah, it was exciting and everything, but I'm halfway through the trip. I know I have to go home after this. And like, what's going on here? I was still drinking, And if you want to enjoy a couple alcoholic beverages, that's great. But I was drinking to the point of blackout drunk. And that is so beta. And I realized that alcohol is a poison too. So if you're having issues with addiction or anything, message me. I will help you. It's what I do. Looks like Ryan G left. Okay. Jager Dev, IMC Nation. Some of them say Stoicism saved their life. IMC Nation saved my life because without IMC Nation, I don't know what I do. I recently had a ex-girlfriend show up to one of my shows this last Saturday, and my friends were asking me like, "Is everything okay with her?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And one of them, like, it's like we kind of like read each other's minds. We're on the same wavelength. He said, "Where we're headed, it doesn't even matter. It's like it doesn't really matter who shows up. Where we're going and providing a safe place where people can freely express themselves with no judgment. Oh, it feels so good. I would not have done that had I not joined IMC Nation. Attended a few live beats camps. Attended the Cervantes brothers' first VIP event where I went out there on a limb, not really knowing what I was getting into, but something just felt right. And when Jose Raul Cervantes invited me, I'm like, okay, there's a reason for this. I'm going to listen. And seeing AZD pretty much run everything, even the club owner, I come back home and I'm like, okay, I got to do something. And here we are. And it has been easy, but I've been doing this for 2.5 years now. And that's why I say keep showing up, because even though I haven't been attending the advanced peace camps lately because of my own doing, I would not be where I am without IMC Nation. We'll just leave it at that. So I'm feeling my face freeze up. I'm actually going to end this here unless, Demigod, you have anything you'd like to say? If not, it's great to see you, brother. Thank you for your service. And if anyone, any man watching this, 18 and over, would like to be my guest for AZD's class this Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, leave a comment here. Show up for yourself, show up for others.